Come on, let's go. Get ready, here we go.
Hi leaders, thanks for watching this week's We Connect. I know sometimes it's frustrating watching the videos if it takes a long time for them to download or if they skip or whatever. So I appreciate you taking the time to check this out and to take a peek into the craft this week and take a peek into the game, and hopefully I can get you a little bit excited about teaching kids this week. I have a question for you. Did you read it out of your Bible yet? I did. I read it several times because I get to teach the Bible story this weekend to pre and kinder at the Thornton campus. I want to do a good job, the best I can. You know, I do what I can do. What I do is I read it from the Bible and I pray over it and just kind of think about it, and then I get out that curriculum packet and look at their ideas. You know, I use it as a guide, as a tool, as an idea to spark some ideas. And then I decide, should I use their ideas to tell the Bible story, or should I put my own spin on it? So I'm going to put my own spin on it this week a little bit. You know, I have gotten criticism about this curriculum in the past, and the criticism I have is that it's just kind of a weak curriculum. It doesn't go deep enough into the story, and I want to tell you that that's intentional. We want to keep these truths just very simple, basic truths that relate to the kids, that they understand, and that they absolutely just know and believe. And so they're not big, huge stories filled with lots of facts. There's truths simplified and brought down to their level. So this week, the story is that Jesus walks on the water. And this is one of those stories that's simplified because it doesn't go into this part about Peter walking on the water. The lesson focus is that Jesus does the impossible. Jesus walks on the water. So have a great time teaching that truth to the kids. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold this week. So I want you to peek into the small group stuff. And the Make It Fun. All the activities, by the way, are 2s through kinder, so you can tweak it to fit your kids. But the first one is sink or float, and everyone will have a bucket, and you can fill it halfway up with water, and then you'll have a bag. And inside the bag, there'll be some items, and some of them sink and some of them float. Ping pong ball, rubber ducky, a coin, there's a rock. So the kids will have a great time guessing, will this sink to the bottom? Or is it going to float on top of the water, right? So in the 2s and 3s, they probably don't get the concept of sink or float yet. So this will be a great tool for them to teach and to learn about sinking and floating. And then it's a great tool to lead you into the Bible story. I was thinking, it's not in the lesson, but I was thinking you could talk about the kids about how when you go swimming, have you ever seen someone float on their back? I love to float on my back in the pool. But if I were to sit up or try to stand up, I would just sink to the bottom. But you know what? Someone in our Bible story today, they go out on a lake. Do you think they float or do you think they sink? What a great lead in to the Bible story. Okay, and then after story, those make it stick crafts. I love this craft because once again, it's like last week, the kids are going to be able to take this craft home and really retell the story. So you guys did a great job with that last week at Thornton campus anyway. I know the kids were so excited to take their paper home and put their little fish and their bread in their baskets. I saw several kids just couldn't wait to show their parents their craft. This is going to be one of those crafts, I think, too, because it's called Walk Along Jesus, and it's a booklet. And they're going to use this little Jesus that you're going to put on a popsicle stick. So tape it on there. 2s and 3s, you might want to do that ahead of time. But tape it on there and they can color Jesus. And Jesus is going to walk along and they're going to be able to retell the story. Now the booklet comes blank with 2 pages. The kids are going to add 2 pages of the story, and then the 3rd page is already there. So make sure the kids get those pages in the right order or their books aren't going to make sense. So the first page is this one, where Jesus tells his friends to go to the other side of the lake. So he sends them in a boat and he tells them goodbye. So he walks along and he tells them to get in the boat. So that'll be the cover, okay, of their book. And then they open it up And they're going to have the second page, which is that the storm comes. A big storm comes. And so they're going to glue that on there. And they couldn't even row their boat anymore because the waves were so strong. But then Jesus, he came, and Jesus walked out onto the water. And I love this part because in this book, the last page is already there. But there's a slit in your book. And Jesus actually can slide in that little slit, and he goes inside the boat. And Jesus walks out into the water. He climbs into the boat, and the wind stops, and the water is calm. Now, I just wanted to let you know that next week the kids are going to learn the story, a different story where Jesus has power over the weather, and he stops a huge storm. This is the story where Jesus is asleep in the bottom of the boat, and his disciples think they're going to drown, and here's Jesus sleeping, and Jesus says, be still. Different story. So we're going to focus on Jesus walking on the water in this story, okay? So make sure you have the kids practice telling you that story so they can go and tell their parents that story, that Jesus could do the impossible. He can walk on the water. Okay, and then after that, there's a fun game. It's called Land, Water, and Air. And you take a piece of masking tape and put it on the carpet and have all the kids stand on one side of this masking tape. And the side they're standing on, you're going to tell them you are standing on the land. But on the other side of this masking tape is a lot of water. We're going to pretend it's water. So we're going to play a game. It's kind of like Simon Says. If I say land, you want to stay on the land. But if I say water, you're going to jump into the water. Okay, so then you'll go like land, water, 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 land. And they'll jump back and forth. But then there's a twist on it too. Sometimes you're going to say air. And if you say air, the kids are going to jump straight up. And so kindergarten, it might be fun to have a little competition. And if they do it wrong, they kind of get out until the next turn. You can decide if you want to do that, or they can just play it the way it is. 2s and 3s, I would just do land and water and just play with the kids. Okay, now let's jump into the water side. Let's jump on the land side. Let's stay on land. Let's go jump in the water. And then the kids will have fun jumping around, pretending like they're jumping and splashing in the water. And then the teaching point is, do you remember our Bible story? Jesus walked on the water. You know what? If we jumped into the lake, if we jump into the water, we're just going to sink. But Jesus, he can do the impossible. Jesus walked on the water in our Bible story. And then last, I hope you guys get to the Make It Real, where you spend time in a small group with the kids, really talking about, you know what? Sometimes we need impossible things in our life. Sometimes there's things even our moms and dads can't help with. Sometimes you're really, really afraid, and no matter what, you just feel so afraid. But you know what? Jesus can help you. Jesus can do things that are impossible. And there might be some time in your life where you need something impossible. You know what? You can always ask Jesus. Jesus can do anything. He walked on the water. And just pray with the kids that Jesus will take care of them and protect them, because no matter what, Jesus can do impossible things because he is that great. So have a great time teaching kids that Jesus can do anything. And then the verse is Matthew 19:26. With God, all things are possible. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you take to heart that truth, no matter where you're at, whether you have a cold and you're not feeling good, or things aren't going great at work. You know what? We have a God who can do anything. We can ask big things of him, and we can strongly believe in him to do the impossible. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you soon.
Got it on?